From burning the midnight oil to lighting a candle from both ends, there are so many phrases about pushing too hard. So when your light goes out, of course we have a phrase for that too. Burnout. It's a commonplace phrase even outside of the art community. It describes that feeling perfectly. The thing was, I didn't even know I was burnt out. This is number 3 for a phrase everyone seemed to know what it meant, and I just didn't. I went to an art school. Of course, I was taught 100 different ways to avoid it. Take breaks. Make sure to work on projects that actually fulfill you. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm sure you've gotten that advice as well. I remember nearly every Q&A we had with a guest speaker, all of my classmates would raise their hands and ask, "How do I avoid burnout?" It was commonplace. And I still didn't know what it meant. And by I didn't know what burnout meant, I knew what burnout meant. I meant in the sense of I didn't know what the symptoms would feel like. I didn't know what I would have to look for. I thought burnout was just a fancy word for artist block, that you just lose motivation and wouldn't be able to work again. I was wrong. I was incredibly wrong. So that's one of the reasons I'm making this video. I don't think I'm special or my fight with burnout was any more worse than anyone else's. There's a lot of people who have mind-body blindness that they just don't feel things. Half of the time I don't even remember I'm hungry. That's one of the reasons I didn't realize I had burnout. It wasn't until I was sat down and people were actually worrying about my mental and physical well-being, I realized something was wrong. So even if my description of my symptoms before I realized what was going on doesn't really help you, at least you'll know you're not alone in this. When I first began to burn out, the symptoms were barely noticeable to me. I had less energy, which could be blamed on not sleeping or eating well. I could still draw, and I had the motivation to. That was one of the reasons I kept telling myself that I wasn't burned out, that I was fine. I could still draw. I still had all of these amazing ideas and projects, and if I just got a little time, I'd be right back to normal. I would be able to work on anything at any moment. That wasn't true. Because when I did have time to work on stuff, I found 100 excuses like, oh, I have work in 3 hours, or I have to cook and clean, go to the gym, go to the store, and then I wouldn't even do that. I would just make an excuse so I would avoid doing anything. It continued on like this, slowly getting worse. I'd force short bursts of energy without even asking myself, why? Why do I have to force myself to work on things I wanted to? Eventually, that tired, aching feeling that just wouldn't go away turned into depression. Of course it did. At work, I became more irritable. I started snapping at my coworkers. I didn't mean to. It was just the littlest things would make me so frustrated. I was just so tired with dealing with the constant chaos, and then knowing when I get home, I wouldn't be able to do anything that I wanted to. When I got home, I would just spend several hours laying in bed, decompressing, trying to fix myself after the day I had. I stopped being able to get up with my alarm. I dreaded doing anything. And then I just reached a point where it was too much. I was crying nearly every day, or I was just numb. Doing things I liked to, or things that I knew I was happy doing, didn't lead to anything. There was nothing. Just a hole inside of me. And you want to know the darkly funny bit of this? I didn't think it was burnout. I thought I was just being lazy, especially because I managed to finish 3 important projects that I had been trying desperately to finish. So, my belief of me being lazy was just compounded. Until one day, I snapped into place. I shouldn't be dreading doing anything. I shouldn't be so broken the only way I would eat something was because someone put it in front of me. And I definitely shouldn't be hating drawing, writing, creating. So, at that point, I knew I was burnt out. Which circles back to me not knowing what burnt out meant. Well, now at least I know how to fix everything. And now hopefully, thanks to knowing my experience, you'll be able to stop yours before it gets as bad as mine. I've already taken the steps in my normal day-to-day life to fix it, and man, it feels like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. The relief I felt doing even one thing has given me more energy and inspiration than I had a week ago. I literally sat down and scripted this whole thing. I still don't know how other YouTubers do it, where they manage to get over like 20 minutes. I wrote 5 pages and it's barely cracking $10. $10? What the fuck? Barely cracking 10 minutes. I don't really have a moral lesson for the end of this. Like, drink more water, go to bed earlier, because I was just sharing my experience in the hopes of helping another scared and confused artist, or even anyone. I'm pretty sure burnout can affect anyone differently. I went down the depression route. Somebody else could just become unbelievably angry or just apathetic to everything. Reach out to somebody that you love or trust. Ask for help. I know I needed it. I just hope who's ever listening to this and feels like they're floundering finds stable ground again. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves. So this is the end of the video. I've got 2/3 of the animatic I've been working on done. I've got a couple more in the works. Got several comics going and like 2 more YouTube video ideas. But I'll be taking it slow, taking it easy, trying not to just burn out the small flame I have back now. Oh, right. While recording this, I found out I was recording it in bits and pieces, and did you know in Audacity, if you click the bottom of the audio track, you can just merge it into the next? I didn't know that. And so I was playing around with it, and suddenly all of my audio tracks, which I got up to like 32 in one mono, fixed back into one. It's like, do other people know about that? I probably should have researched the actual program. But if you want to check out some of the stuff I'm working on ahead of time, come check out my Patreon. I'm posting stuff there fairly often, or come check out on my Tumblr. Yeah, I use Tumblr.